Okay, next we have Lennie Jarrett, and he's going to tell us about school board reform. Lennie?
Well, about 6 years ago, I had just moved up here to Lake County, and I moved into the Round Lake Beach area and Grays Lake schools, and they were having a referendum. So I decided I wanted to find out what was really going on. Did they really need the money? So I started putting in some FOIAs, starting to try to ask people some questions, trying to see what was going on. And I set up a website. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put all this information up there for everybody else. Well, I found out real fast that people in Grays Lake did not like that. Within 2 weeks, my website had been hacked. The forum had posted who I was, who my wife was, how many kids I had, where that I was homeschooling at the time, and how much I paid for my house. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? All I was doing was asking questions. So I got mad. I started doing more research. I've continued to do that research now for 6 years in the Grays Lake 46 School District. And this past year, we finally have them putting their check registers online for everybody to see, because I was doing that every single month because nobody else was doing it. And I would go to the school board every month and ask for that information and putting it online. And that's something you can do. So what's on the screen here is a basic breakdown of where your tax money goes when your property taxes. As most of you know, the property taxes here in Lake County are very high. In fact, we have the highest property taxes in the Midwest, according to Forbes magazine. And I know it's 2 out of the last 3 years. I believe it's been 3 years in a row now. And you'll see 68% of your property tax money goes to the local schools. So I'm here to talk to you about running for school board, because Grays Lake, we did that year. They had 4 people ran. I ended up helping them. They won. There hasn't been a referendum since. But we run the risk of losing that every single time, because every 2 years, there's either 3 or 4 positions up in every single school board across the state, and especially in Lake County. So if you want to have an impact, not only for fiscal responsibility, but for your kids and the kids in the neighborhood, because the school board members get the responsibility of choosing the curriculum that's taught in the schools. You get to pick the superintendent, so you can direct the kids' education a lot better than you can from just being an activist. But being on the school board gives you a lot of power, and it also gives you the ability then to be able to talk to people to move up to county board, move up to village trustees. All these positions give you the ability to start building your credibility, building your record, so that basically we build a conservative farm team that's ready to move up to Congress, that's ready to move up to the state, that's ready to kind of take over the state, because right now the unions are out there and they're looking at these school board races. They're looking because almost every time there's a contract up. Contract renewals in Grays Lake next year, and a lot of school districts around here. Teachers unions and everybody are out there. I was talking to a liberal friend of mine today at work, and it's a comment you're going to love, because he lives in Palatine. And as Bonnie's going to talk to you about the library board, they're trying to recruit his wife to the library board, because there's Tea Party people there that are trying to recruit people to run for library board. Guess what their name is for the Tea Party people in Palatine? Flat Earthers. They think all the Tea Party people are so stupid, and the liberals are trying to run and recruit people, and with the unions, and they just think we're all stupid. They have no clue what they're doing right now, and what the anger that is out there, and what conservatives can do if we start getting active again. And we do. We have to hold everybody accountable. Both parties need to be held accountable, and they know we need to be there watching. As you said, most of the elections in the spring are nonpartisan. So it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, it's all nonpartisan, especially at the school board level and the village levels. School boards, Grays Lake area, it's 50 signatures. Get 100, get 150, get 200. Don't get the minimum, get as many as you can. Because a lot of people, when they sign those petitions, they feel like they're committing to vote for you. I found that this year passing stuff out. It's a commitment to a lot of people. So the more signatures you get, whether you need them or not, get them. But that's just it. Elections are getting ready to start. You've got to get your signatures, get the packets now, and you'll be turning them into each of the villages or into each of the school board district offices. It's where you turn those packets in. You have to have those signatures by December 27th. So you're right here in the holidays. You've got to get your packets and everything and signatures.
I don't know for sure, but I thought I read that it's some offices that it's possible to turn in too many signatures.
There are some offices where they limit the number of signatures. For the local offices, I don't know if there's any limits on the local officers, but some of the statewide offices, yeah, there's a limit.
You could actually get in trouble for that,
yeah.
But they won't accept it or something. No.
Yeah, the Round Lake trustees, same thing. It's a minimum of 88, maximum of 140.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just check when you go pick up a packet and stuff. You'll want to check that information. Tony?
Yeah, I was going to say, a little tip from Michael Carbone was that if you would like to have your name placed in the first order on the ballot, then you want to get your packet submitted by December 13th. Right?
Yeah, first.
Better, so that you're listed first, because
right.
Statistically you're more likely to get the vote if you're listed.
Right, and one thing that will happen if you're the first on the ballot is if the school district knows who you are, they will try to get somebody to get signatures to also get on the ballot to oppose you. Because a lot of times in a lot of school districts, it happened in Grays Lake High School last time, there were 4 open seats, only 3 people filed petitions, so somebody filed as a write-in candidate at the last minute and was able to only get a few signatures to win and get on the ballot. And that happens a lot in the school board races around here. If you're interested in running for school board, some of these offices, get your name to Tony. You come see me, come see some of the other Lake County Tea Party members. Actually with Michael Carbone, shame he couldn't be here tonight. He's actually working on some training sessions, and we're going to actually start having training sessions for local offices starting in January to help anybody that's actually running for office and help you with your messaging and help you prepare for the campaign.
Any kind of credentials required to run for these positions?
No. There's a few offices. Assessor is one that you have to be certified for, so there's a few offices you'll have to check the requirements for. School boards, village trustees, there's no requirements except that you live in those districts. Let me go back here first.
Can you just give us a brief rundown of the top 3 things that lie within the school board's power? Because I've heard that the school boards don't actually have much power. It's more in the state legislature, but...
Yeah, there are a lot of mandates, but you do get to, they tell you what subjects you have to teach, but at the local level, you get to decide which books and which curriculum you actually teach. So that does help. You can direct the superintendent what kind of curriculum and stuff is there. I don't know if y'all hear about this, but down in Deerfield High School, part of their orientation is about homosexuality and indoctrination in their orientation that every freshman has to take. That's a direct reflection of a school board could go in there and change that mandate of the superintendent or change the superintendent.
The city of Waukegan would like to thank all you taxpayers who don't live in Waukegan for the $28 million grant to add on to all of our schools. Thank you. So that's the name of the game. If that doesn't get you hot, then nothing will.
Tony?
I need Deerfield school situation. The principal of one is a gay male and the other one is a gay female. So that's how they were able to do that.
Yeah, and the school board has you can have a lot of influence over that though. You get to pick the superintendent who then hires the other employees. One other major thing you have control over though as a school board member is contract negotiations. If you want to end referendums in Lake County except for new school buildings, all you have to do is in those contract negotiations is limit teacher pay raises to CPI every year. The schools are going to increase their revenue from property taxes every year by CPI or 5%, whichever is less. And if you can get the contracts limited to that, you just can make sure that there would never be another referendum in that school district during that contract. Because the salaries are about 80% of all the money that's spent in the school districts.
Wow.
You'd also prevent a lot of layoffs and all these, when they keep going, it's all for the teachers, we don't want to be doing all these layoffs. It's because their salaries are growing faster than their revenue. They all have a spending problem. It's not a revenue problem.
One of the problems today, though, they pass all these laws and requirements that schools have to follow, but they do not fund them.
Yep.
And so you're stuck with these programs, and many of them are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no funding. The state's broke now, and so, you know, it leaves the school board in a mess.
It does, and then they're overspending too, which doesn't help the situation. They don't save for those rainy days in those situations. So, yeah, my time is up, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to see me.